we were preparing a little bit for this panel. I asked the panelists to introduce themselves to you, so they're each going to give you their perspective on what do they provide to the enterprise customer today. Let's just start with that. What do you provide to the enterprise customers today? Andy, what's your company doing that solves, that addresses a need?
So I founded recently a company at the beginning of this year, or beginning of 2016, called RealWear, and we sell head-mounted Android tablets. And you might ask me, what's a head-mounted Android tablet? Well, it's a monocular, sort of Google Glass-esque device, and the reason why I call it an Android tablet, and this is something very important to enterprise, is that enterprise and industry don't like new, crazy, zany, because it gets stuck in an innovation office with the chief innovation officer calling up Mark saying, what do I do with this thing? Enterprise likes conservative, understood, tried and true, tested, meets security protocols, meets this, meets that. Consumers like Star Wars, next generation, this is crazy, I'll flock to the store to buy the latest gizmo. Enterprise takes typically years to incorporate new tech into the actual infrastructure. So by designing a wearable device that's an Android tablet that frees your hands, we're basically taking a lot of that mystification or whatever out of the equation and saying you don't need to worry about IT, you don't need to worry about security protocols and that sort of a thing. So with that, though, all of augmented reality and everything that we're doing today on tablets that Huntington Ingalls is doing 100% on Android tablets can be easily ported, and now you're porting it to something that you don't need your hands to navigate and use, completely hands-free. That's my sales pitch, I guess.
Well
Thank
done.
you. Jay Kim, welcome.
Thanks. So my name is Jay, and my company builds a software platform called Skylight. Targets smart glasses and augmented reality applications with a specific focus on what we call assisted reality applications. So driving a lot of the connectivity into legacy information that is pre-existing within the enterprise, and then delivering that to the technician or the operator from the manufacturing site to the job site and to the warehouse. You can say that we build software that is technology and device agnostic that powers basically the human interface to Industry 4.0 and related kinds of technologies. And the overall effect is that we are doing that in an effort to upskill the industrial workforce. So much to a point where, as of yesterday, my company, which used to be known as Apex Labs, went and rebranded as Upskill. So that's who I work for now.
So I think, would you feel comfortable saying you kind of some glue that fits in between multiple parts? Does Skylight feel like glue to you or to your customers?
Hopefully pretty sticky, but because software has to be sticky to actually work. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, to an extent, what we're providing as a part of our value proposition is that as some of the largest enterprises are investing into augmented reality technology and other Industry 4.0 areas like the Internet of Things, for example, having a software platform that kind of marries all of the different new age infrastructure that is being pushed in, and then bridging the digital physical gap between the human workforce and all of the smarter infrastructure that is happening is one of the key value propositions that we bring to the table, while providing future proofing against new hardware that is being introduced to the market, like Andy's company's head-mounted tablet.
And you're a partner with some of the other panelists. Mike Campbell, PTC, would you please explain to us, would you please explain what PTC is offering for the enterprise customer?
Yeah, so this morning you heard Jim make the case for the combination of IoT and AR. We have heavily invested in IoT. Last year in November, we acquired Vuforia out of Qualcomm. That's a computer vision, augmented reality SDK. Many of you know it. We continue to run that business as an SDK business, but we're also taking that technology and we are democratizing it for industrial enterprises. Industrial enterprises that make high-value assets like oil rigs and pipelines and excavators and really expensive industrial equipment that you may want to connect with IoT and service and operate and manufacture using augmented reality. And what we've done is we have built we have extended our IoT platform, and we are providing capabilities that make it much easier than ever before to create AR experiences and to create them quickly and easily, but also to create them at scale, which we believe is a really important element when we think about what goes on in the industrial enterprise.
Very well said. So one of the key words there is to create the AR experiences, to build, to author at scale.
That's right.
To meet those needs. Okay,
That's right.
great.
We're all about supporting the application developers or the content creators. We don't build what Jim showed you, those demos. We build a platform, tools that are very easy for all of you to use to reuse existing CAD and leverage lots of information you have to create those experiences.
On any device.
That's right. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here with these guys because
Device
I love all the
agnostic.
devices.
Device agnostic. Chris, tell us again what you're providing for the enterprise customer specifically.
Yeah, so we make smart devices. In the consumer space, we make the complete end-to-end experience. In the enterprise space, we make an open platform. We could call it an Android computer on your face or an edge device that you wear. Essentially, we extend the computer network out to people. And we partner with folks like the gentleman on the panel here to provide vertical solutions to industry.
Now, one of the most important questions when a company is trying to provide technologies is where do you find the customers? Could I ask you each to say, do the customers come and find you, or are you going out and hunting and teaching the customers? I'm going to start back with Chris first. Do the customers find you and you're responding to their inquiries, or how is that working right now in the January 2017? And we'll look further into.
In our case, I would say it's C, all of the above. In some cases, we're going out because we're targeting specific verticals, especially when we partner
with
someone. There's a number, logistics, transportation, manufacturing, field service. Our device is suited for those types of applications. We also have a fairly robust relationship with a number of IT managers on the planet. Most of them have bought Intel products in their career once or twice, so it's not uncommon for us to go and talk to them about what we're adding to their infrastructure.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I would say C as well. Similar to Intel, PTC has long-standing relationships with lots of industrial enterprises. So when we visit them, we tell them what's new, what's exciting, how we can add value to the infrastructure they already have. But I would also say that we are identifying lots of new prospects outside of our traditional base because of the work that we're doing. And there certainly is inbound interest in augmented reality on its own. I think that the Pokemon Go phenomenon of last summer did a lot for mainstreaming the concept, getting people to get their heads around it. And I think that as with many things we experience in our consumer lives, we think about how we can bring that to work. And that's certainly working in our favor right now. So it definitely goes both ways.
Very good.
I don't have Upskill doesn't have the brand power that Intel or PTC does. So traditionally a lot of our sales prospects and leads, and our history dates back to 2010, and that actually makes us fairly ancient in this specific industry regarding AR and smart glasses. We fielded a tremendous amount of inbound requests, so much to a point that until fairly recently, it was our sales process was strictly servicing all of the inbound inquiries that were coming in, and then taking on some of the partner referrals that were coming in through some of the device as well as some of the enterprise ISV partners that we work with. That's starting to flip a little bit as the market is starting to mature and more case studies that are being powered by our solution is getting out there. We are able to go and do some targeted outreach to some of the industries and some of the applications that we know that we have a fairly easy to deploy and repeatable solutions around, and we're able to execute a relatively quick sale that way. An interesting trend that we're seeing from the sales side, from our perspective, is that our sales cycle from the initial outreach or initial touch point to the start of a pilot or the execution of a contract is shrinking drastically. And that actually, I think, is a good sign for the overall health of the industry.
Great, thank you. Andy, when you answer that question, I'd also like you to add in what your business model is, and then we'll go back. So the great question is product versus service. I guess those are two well-known options, familiar options for sales.
Those lines are starting to get blurred, right? So I was going to say I don't have any customers, so I don't know.
Oh, that's a short answer.
No. Anyways, we have developing partnerships now, and then when we get the product to commercialization, obviously, then it gets real. So I'm a product company, and it's a product platform, actually, like any other smart device, I guess you can think of it that way. So we need an ecosystem of partners like PTC and Apex, and Upskill and other folks like that. And so, but the business model would be, it's a fairly simple value proposition, right? It's a hands-free tablet and head-mounted, self-contained. You figure out what it is, you understand what it is, and then you get it out there to everybody from a marketing point of view. Then you have a robust customer success organization that when you have problems, when you first release any commercial hardware product, you're going to have problems. You then have, on the other side of it, sort of the customer success and making sure that the adoption's happening and everything else like that. And in the middle, you partner through channels or other sorts of things like that. You don't build out your whole sales force, at least I don't, because I don't have the money to do it as a startup. So you look for one-to-many type opportunities. Folks like PTC, for example, that has 500,000 salespeople all over the world. I don't want to reproduce that. I'd rather them say, hey, let me put my software on this great device and try to sell it in. So anyway, so the point being is that's sort of the overall go-to-market strategy or whatever. And
the business model is to sell units.
And the customers, again, it's actually it's getting much bigger AR, but like Jay, I founded a company called Augmented Dynamics, which later had been known as DAQRI back in 2010, but we founded it as an enterprise augmented reality company in 2010, Brian Mullins and myself, and so we've been kind of like, AWE had 22 people, I think, the first one that I went to, and it was in like a whole hotel little corner somewhere, and so now Rory's done a good job and everything else, so as you get immersed in the community, you'll find that it is still fairly small and fairly nascent group, and so you meet the same people in the same sort of different lives or whatever as you go through.
Okay, thank you. We're going to summarize your business model, Jay, for Upskill. Is that going to change, or what is it today?
Software licensing. So pretty standard. Both indirect and direct sales. Direct sales with our own team, our own customer solutions team that kind of takes them through the pilot and then eventually to, I would say, the cusp of production, at which point we've got different stakeholders that get engaged so that we can go and hold up against our SLAs and other kinds of things that are fun in enterprise IT as you're deploying these kinds of systems. But yeah, software licensing and subscription, pretty standard. Services as an extra, but certainly not as a big profit maker for us.
So our business model is, I think it's pretty interesting. Of course, we have direct and indirect sales. It's software licensing, ultimately. But the way that we monetize this element of augmented reality is we give away an authoring environment. And tomorrow morning, I'll demo that. I'll show you that. We give away the Thing browser that Jim showed. It's called ThingWorx View. You can all download it from the Apple or iOS and Android stores. And what we do is we monetize experiences. So when the miracle of augmented reality happens, when somebody experiences it, when they get the information, that's sort of a tick in the box. And you buy so many thousands, millions of ticks in the box per year, and that's how we monetize.
First ride's free, huh?
First ride's free, then you pay.
No big surprise, we're a hardware business. The big surprise, I think, for most people when I talk to them is that it's not a chip play. We're actually constructing devices, and if you lifted our organization out of Intel and dropped us out somewhere in the world, we'd be a consumer products company. That coupled with the cloud and services offerings we're doing in the back end is what we're monetizing in the transactions.
So you're not only just like pulling through a bunch of other Intel boxes.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably heard of our virtuous cycle, but we sell a few servers and there's some gateways and a little bit of other stuff we throw in there.
Special
So
sauce.
it is a large portfolio sale, but we, as a business unit, go direct and we're providing the solutions to the customers that need them.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope that the people in the audience learned about these companies, their approaches, their products and offerings. You're going to learn about a lot of other products the rest of today and tomorrow. And well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, gentlemen.